Today is Wednesday, the 15th day of August 2018. I greet the good people of the world, especially those who have the fear of the Lord in their being, in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. This is my 11th message and the 10th voice message I am sharing with the good people of the earth planet. Like always, my name is Chinyere Ezogu, the Incon writer, the messenger of the message of the carcass that is preparing the elders of God for the wonderful things our Lord and Savior is doing at this end time, especially bringing the present truth to them, so that they are not victims of the worms and caprices of the devil and his agents. You see, like in the last edition, I discussed and I told you the race that are called violent extremism, that they are the Biafrans, and now includes the people of Middle Belt and the Southern Cameroonians. And I told you that the ECOWAS and the ECAS meeting is all about, adopting the Abuja Declaration that I told you about. That is what it's all about. You see, the Lord has been working for us, because I told you once you give the head of the serpent, the rest of it is, piece of rope. This killer serpent of jihad that they have declared, we have not been able to push it away. It's still on course, but God is working on our behalf. That is why God was able to dislodge a principal element critical to their own plot, for this their jihad that they have plotted, which is the DSS Director General, Daura. God moved him away, to disarray their plan, to backfire them and delay them. And they are fighting tooth and nail. Nigerians don't know, but Buhari want to restore that man. But it's not all about Daura today. We discuss Daura's matter. After this, we are going to talk about the DSS issue. This edition is the concluding part of the visit of French President Emmanuel Macron to Nigeria and to shine the light on the 10-day tenure of Vice President Osinbajo as the acting president of Nigeria, while Buhari is on a 10-day vacation in London. This era of Vice President Osinbajo represents the last iron curtain the enslaved people of Nigeria have to tear apart to enter their final freedom. Buhari always claimed that he goes to London. What is he going to London to do? Because Nigeria is the hope of, British praises to recover economically. Buhari, we are being ruled by Britain. They go there to tell Buhari what to do when the heat is too much. They pull Buhari away, put Osinbajo there to re-strategize so that they will come. I told you, Macron came here, London, the jihadists and all that. Then he went to meet with Prime Minister Theresa May in his private, holiday resort. Then the Prime Minister will come and brief Buhari. That is all what Buhari is there. He's not sick, nothing is wrong with him. That is the issue. We are being rude, but they will be disappointed. You see, I've always maintained that my mission is to unearth hidden secrets and dangers that are not obvious, to the ordinary eyes, and to shine the light on the hidden contents of the darkness called Nigeria, to reveal its dangerous contents for the people to see, and therefore neutralize the dangers, and in so doing, obtain their freedom. All over the world, I'm going to decode every secret, every hidden matter, I'm going to decode it. As I indicated in the second part of this edition, the first and only time President Emmanuel Macron visited Nigeria in his capacity as a serving president was not to visit the nation called Nigeria per se, but to use his supposed official visit to Nigeria to march his own revered but real mission to Nigeria, which is his visit to Fela's African Shrine in Lagos to deliver the plan of action and formal introduction of the representatives of various terrorist organizations, both ISIS and in the Sahel forces, that they will use in the final jihad to overrun the southern and middle belt region of Nigeria. That introduction is very necessary so that they don't work at cross purposes to each other, which will have telling effects, telling consequences. Where else can such an introduction be done escaping official scrutiny or detection from the rest of the world by a serving president associating with unsavory and disreputable terrorist characters, if not in a shrine like the African Shrine Rendezvous? According to a news report on the new African Shrine hosting of President Emmanuel Macron of France, in attendance were 1,200 VIP guests and 250 journalists who packed the iconic music and cultural venue. How does anyone detect what goes on in between the agents of President Emmanuel Macron and the representatives of the London Boko Haram commanders as they get to know each other and synchronize their operational targets, with their modes, or rather associates in the so-called Nigerian Armed Forces, especially representatives from the military, DSS, police and EFCC and etc., under the cover of such a huge crowd at the shrine with skimpy dressed women and general revelry that goes with the African shrine that was actually the order of the day when President Emmanuel Macron visited the new African shrine. That was the only thing he came to do under that cover. You see? Okay. Now that according to Buhari, now that according to Buhari, who said that Boko Haram terrorists are willingly surrendering and that Nigeria is in a Boko Haram conflict state. Where are the Boko Haram prisoners of war? You cannot see any prisoners of war from Boko Haram. They say they have defeated because they have been incorporated into the Fulani herdsmen that have been deployed as herdsmen and military men to Biafra and Middle Belt hinterlands, leaving the more sophisticated Boko Haram terrorists, ISIS and other terrorist gangs incorporated into the so-called Sahel forces that their former get to know each other introduction was perfected by the French President Emmanuel Macron under the cover of his visit to the New African Shrine with the primary mission of first eliminating the bulk of Biafran and Christian soldiers in the armed forces that will be deployed to the northeast to be wiped out by them before their open and deadly march of killings to southeastern and middle belt region of the country. You understand me? Now let us evaluate the evidence since Macron came. Let us see whether the Boko Haram, whether the activities are increasing or whether they are decreasing, because I told you certain soldiers will be shipped to the north, transferred to the north, and they will finish them there. So this edition, I'm going to dedicate this edition to, there was a mutiny in the army. Some of the allied forces, they rebelled at Maiduguri airport some few days ago. They say they are going to court-martial them. Nigerians will not allow those soldiers to die or be imprisoned. I dedicate this edition to them, and I'm going to show you how some of their colleagues have been killed earlier. Their colleagues that fell even before the election, 2015 election. I'm going to show you. I dedicate it also to those their fallen colleagues. Lieutenant Colonel Abu Ali, Staff Sergeant Muazu Ibrahim, Sergeant Hussein Jafaru, Sergeant Okombasi, Captain Chuku Simon, Peter Salihu Lawal, and Ebu Seaman Patrick Paul. Then another one, Major Timothy Fambia. All Christian soldiers eliminated by the Nigerian state in order to eliminate the Christians in the Nigerian army. I dedicate all these things to them. Then let us look at this report, from the chief of staff himself, from the army chief, from the chief of army staff, Lieutenant Colonel Tuko Burata Yusuf. We are going to see, this is from Vanguard of August 14, 2018, and I'm reading it. He said the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant Colonel General Tuku Yusuf Buratai, Tuesday supported the post of the Minister of Information, Mr. Lai Mohammed, saying that Nigerian soldiers have technically defeated Boko Haram terrorist group in the country. Recall that Lai Mohammed had told Nigerians that their soldiers have defeated Boko Haram technically, a statement that was frowned by many following repeated attacks by those terrorists. However, speaking during the opening ceremony of the Combat Support Arms Training Week 2018, Buratai assured Nigerians that their gallant soldiers would do everything possible to flush out the remaining Boko Haram terrorists and other criminal elements from the country. His statement reads thus. I'm reading his statement according to the report. The COSAT Week is an annual event organized on a rotational basis among the combat support arms of the Nigerian Army, in which they brainstorm to re-strategize towards combating contemporary security challenges. It is gratifying to know that outcome of previous COSAT weeks has been instrumental in the formation of major policies for the Nigerian Army. This year's training week is coming at a time when the nation and the military is at the threshold of completely routing out the remnants of Boko Haram terrorists from our territory, and also when the fight to eliminate other criminal elements are on top gear. However, the activities of armed militias in recent times have become prominent, especially in areas of kidnapping, farmer herders clashes, and cattle rustling. It is against this background that I commend the choice of this training week's team, which is, now listen to the team, strengthening combat support armed cooperation in contemporary security challenges. Contemporary. Living or occurring at the same time. Coexisting. That is the meaning of contemporary. So this man, they are not talking about Boko Haram. They are not talking, no mention of Fulani herdsmen. Contemporary are what? Violent extremism. That is Biafrans. That is, they are prepared for you. That is what literally that man said. You understand me? It's for Biafrans. You understand me? He said this year's training week, he said it is against this background that I commend the choice of this, of this training week's team, which is strengthening combat support arms cooperation in contemporary security challenges, like as I've told you, for you, not for them. The lecture topic, as reflected in the program of events, indicate we are on track in the actualization of my vision of enhancing professionalism in the Nigerian Army through seminars, workshops, and maintenance of equipment and training exercises for improved responsiveness to constitutional roles. I am glad to state that significant progress has been made and successes recorded in the ongoing operations such as Operation Lafayette and Operation Last Food in the Northeast. Our troops have been able to carry out timely and synchronized operations in these operations, thereby denying Boko Haram terrorists and other criminal freedom of action. This therefore calls for more efforts and synergy of all to achieve the desired end of enduring peace that will enhance development in the country. He's literally telling them that through their synchronized operation, through the Boko Haram they have laundered, they have been able to eliminate most of the Christian soldiers in the Nigerian army before they move on for their slaughter. That is what he's just saying. Now listen to his next statement. He said, the Boko Haram terrorist group has been technically defeated. However, there is still more to be done. Therefore, we must remain focused and be proactive at all times. As combat support arms, you have a major role to play in the final defeat of the terrorists. He's telling them, these are very fresh people. So it's rearranging their head. You are not for Boko Haram. You are for this contemporary squad. That is why they say Boko Haram is technically defeated. So that area of operation has been removed for these people. That was what fostered that statement. You understand me? Then he's concluding, he said, as the year 2019 election is approaching, but I've told you there's nothing like 2019. Forget about it. Buhari's tenure is ending this year. If Buhari survives it, if he doesn't die, he will end up being jailed by the International Criminal Court. If they don't jail Buhari, International Criminal ICC will close shop. So he's going to end up as a criminal for crimes against humanity. So let us weigh the evidence and see whether what they claim about Boko Haram is true or false. We have read the statement of the Chief of Army Staff. Now I'm reading a report of July 18, 2018. There is after Macron visit, and this is an international newspaper. It says hundreds of Nigerian soldiers missing after ISIS attack, says official. This is NBC News. You see, I'm reading from Washington. It says hundreds of Nigerian soldiers are unaccounted for after Islamic fighters disguised in Nigerian military uniform overran their remote base Saturday, say two U.S. officials and an individual with knowledge of the incident. The Nigerian army has emphatically denied that the soldiers are missing, but the U.S. officials say they remain unaccounted for. The individual with knowledge of the incident said that so far at least hundreds have returned to the base. The individual also said, however, that Nigerian officials do not yet know if up to 500 others were killed, captured, or simply fled. Nigerian officials in Nigeria and the U.S. did not immediately respond to requests for comment. According to the U.S. official, the Nigerian military had intelligence that terrorists were planning to attack the new forward operating base in northeastern Nigeria and have called in reinforcement. Around 7 p.m. local time, a group of Islamist fighters approached the base near the village of Jile. They were dressed in military uniform and drove technical vehicles painted to look like Nigerian military trucks. While Nigerian government has suggested the fighters were linked to Boko Haram, the U.S. officials said they believe they were with different Islamic groups, ISIS of West Africa. Different Islamic groups. I told you they created and laundered different jihadist groups. Those were the people Macron came to formalize and introduce them. Now the military, Nigerians are claiming they are Boko Haram. Americans are telling them, no, these are different groups. These are the people they kept introduced at the shrine. That is what happened. You understand me? Now look at the report continues. Where is Tabulawi? Where is ISIS? They are calling Abu. Where is Tabanawi? I told you they have released them. These are the people that will support Tabanawi with them that they will use to submerge the whole of the former eastern region and the Middle Belt. He said the guys allowed the fighters on the base thinking they were the expected reinforcement. They let them right in the front door, a U.S. official said. Insiders collaboration. Tell them to come and kill. Let them tell us the names of those soldiers in those bases. You find out they are Christian soldiers. You see, the attack surprised and overwhelmed the troops, and fighting lasted for about 2 hours before the militants left the base. About 730 Nigerian troops were on the base when the attack began. More than 600 were missing just after the attack. According to the U.S. official, the Nigerian military said it had recovered dozens of bodies and found dozens wounded in the nearby areas. Other soldiers apparently fled from the assault and then returned to the base, according to the individual with knowledge of the incident. According to the U.S. official, the attacking militants also took vehicles and arms and munitions when they left the base. In a statement Monday, the Nigerian military denied a report in local media that hundreds of soldiers have gone missing. The Nigerian army wished to state categorically that the report is not only untrue but capable of misleading members of the general public, said General Tezas Chukwu, Director of Public Relations for the Army. They will write up alleged that about 100 of the troops that disappeared from the base in Chile after the clash have reported in Jaidam town, but very few of them had their weapons with them. Contrary to the report, the army wishes to state that although the base was attacked by suspected Boko Haram insurgents, troops reorganized and successfully repelled the attacks and normalcy has since returned to the area. Also, all the troops in the base were accounted for, contrary to the report. Do you imagine a nation lying to its citizens? This is what is happening here. They are telling you that nobody was killed. Though. Fake news, and they are saying fake news. Who are the fake news? And then the service chiefs are still there. But well, on Wednesday, Brigadier General Chukwu issued a second statement saying that Nigerian Chief of Army Staff had visited the area in the preceding 48 hours to assess the situation. He urged the media to be very cautious when reporting some of these developments that have national security implications. He wants the media to lie, and they are talking fake news. He did not provide any new information about casualties, but said that while the attack was very unfortunate, it had been brought under control. The outpost in Yobe State near the Niger border was established to stop the flow of terrorists, mainly Boko Haram, through the Lake Chad Basin area. Nigeria requested help from the U.S. to recover vehicles using satellite and surveillance imagery, said the two U.S. officials, but the officials said they were not aware of that request being approved. You see, they want Americans to help them with satellite and surveillance imagery. Satellite and surveillance imagery was what John Campbell, the former American ambassador, and co, all of them have been using to finish our allied forces. They use it to locate the locations of our allied forces. And tell Boko Haram, this is where they are, and they slaughtered them under Barack Obama. That was how what they were doing. That was how the Bauchi guests, that was how the Chibok guests were able to, the kidnappers were able, terrorists were able to move them out. And even the Dapchi gears, they use those imaginary and tell them this is where the people looking for you are. That was how they escaped scrutiny. That is what is happening. And today, President Trump have withdrawn the security clearance of John Brennan, the former CIA director. Very soon, arrest will start to follow, so that the oxygen that feeds these people, that is in America, will be extinguished. Otherwise, Boko Haram will not die. That is what is happening. So look at another report. It says 18 killed in Boko Haram attack in Chad. This is recently. I'm not going to read it full because there's no more time in WhatsApp to talk. So it says armed bandits killed over 215, displaced 800,000 in 17 Zamfara communities. This is daily independent of August 4, 2018. Look at it. This one says 4 soldiers, 2 policemen among 13 killed by Boko Haram in latest Boko Haram attack. This is Sahara Reporter, July 27, 2018. Can you imagine? At least 13 persons were killed and many others sustained gun wounds when suspected Boko Haram insurgents attacked a military formation in Borno State on Thursday evening. Vigilante and civilian sources have told Sahara Reporters. The militants stormed Jakana in military fatigue at about 6 p.m. and attacked the army base and a police station, raining bullets on the structures and razing the police station. They also killed 4 soldiers and 2 mobile policemen in the process. Okay, look at this one. It's a village chief, son and his wife beheaded by Boko Haram in Borno State. This is by Agency France, AFP. It says members of Boko Haram terrorists have killed at least 7 villagers, including a village chief and his wife. Boko Haram jihadists have killed 7 villagers in a down raid in Nigerian relative northeast. Local militia and the residents said Tuesday, according to AFP. This is August 8, 2018. Now look at this one. It said Boko Haram militants killed 17 Nigerian soldiers. That is Guardian of August 9, 2018. You see? Now look at the report. It said, according to the report, it said the truth of the matter is that the troops in Chile were relocated to Garunda, where a new base was established, said the second military source, who gave a similar date to. Troops were just setting up, and the excavator operator was working to fortify the base with trenches against attack from terrorists when the attack happened, said the troop. The same troop that we attacked before, they relocated them and they still gave Boko Haram information to finish them, so that they want to finish all of them, so that all of them will die. All of them will die. They never wanted anyone to escape. Let them release the names of these people. You tell me, let them release the name of those soldiers, those people that they sent there, and you Nigerians will marvel and see what is happening. Now look at the officers that mutinied. Look at it. It says army prepare mutiny charges against soldiers who fired gunshots at Maiduguri airport. You tell me. Look at it. This is Sahara report, report of August 14, 2018. Look at it. The same people that are coming from here, look at, now hear this report. It says Sahara reporters understand that more than 300 of them were posted to Borno almost 4 years ago, prior to the 2015 election, but more than 200 of them have been killed by Boko Haram. The soldiers who fired gunshots into the air during a protest at the Maiduguri International Airport in Borno State on Sunday have been arrested and will be charged for mutiny, Sahara reporters understand. The soldiers, members of the Special Trained Armed Forces, Special Forces, arrived the airport well ahead of their scheduled posting to Mate local government, one of the zones on the outskirts of Borno still prone to Boko Haram attacks. Having been in Borno for that long, the soldiers believed it was time for them to be posted elsewhere and relieved by another batch of soldiers. Instead, they were posted to Mati. Why? Because they want all of them to die. They don't want any of them to escape. Now, they said more than 200 of them have been killed. Among these people, look at it. They are the people I'm dedicating to this thing, and you will see how they died. Look at it. Lieutenant Colonel Abu Ali, Staff Sergeant Muazu Ibrahim, Sergeant Hussein Jafaru, Sergeant Okombasi, Captain Chuku Simon, Salihu Lawal, and Able Seaman Patrick Paul, and Major Timothy Fambia. Now we are going to see how they died. In that publication I did, I used to decode John Kerry's speech. Your time, go and look at it. I published it in 2017. December of 2016. That was when I published this thing. December 17, 2016 was when that publication was made in Anointed Treasure. That is why I tell you my publications, they are all prescient, they are sentient. And that is why they are stellar. I'm giving you, look at it, compare this report now with what happened at that time. I'm dedicating this edition to them. Look at how they died. Look at that Abu Ali, very young, handsome man. You see how he died. Look at how he died. Look at the report. He said, there are speculations surrounding the death of them. I'm quoting from the magazine, from my magazine. There are speculations surrounding the death of this fine soldier and the terror to the terrorists. The army authorities have indicated that thorough investigation will be conducted, as it is believed that some unscrupulous person within and outside the army might have given the enemy details of how a group of soldiers belonging to the special forces trained in Belaru were asked to withdraw from Malam Faturi in northern Borno, where soldiers of 272 Tank Battalion are presently located, to Maiduguri on the day of the incident. It has gathered that although the order to withdraw from the operational area where the special forces have been since June did not go down well with the soldiers, given the sensitive nature of the area, the troop had to obey the last order and got to Maiduguri about 5 p.m. on Friday. Sunday Sun gathered that the special forces team was to participate in a special operation in the Sambisa forest. Sources said Balam Faturi, which is a border town between Cameroon and Niger Republic, a major stronghold of Boko Haram, from where the terrorists launched attacks against the army almost on a daily basis. What happened was that there was a signal that 50 soldiers of our special forces were to be withdrawn from Malam Faturi to Maiduguri, a source told Sunday Sun. Continuing, the source said the reason was that they were to embark on a special operation at Sambisa Forest, although we were not happy when we received the signal, given the nature of the security situation there and the role the members of the special forces are playing there. The soldiers had to comply with the order. A senior officer who was sent to oversee the effective withdrawal of the troops from the area did not look too relaxed when he came, because he was in such a hurry that he even left his soldiers, that he even left without his soldiers, which was very unusual. He was supposed to have left with the soldiers, but somehow he left without them and drove on that dangerous road alone with his escort, which were very unusual. However, another source who simply described the incident as unfortunate said that the officers and his team had to go ahead of the soldiers after their vehicle developed some problems and needed repairs. The source said that before leaving Malam Faturi, it was agreed that they meet with them at Difa for onward movement to Maiduguri, which they did. The source continued, and so that night about 8 o'clock, the terrorists, who were mostly Cameroonians, Nigerians and Nigerians and other nationals that had been operating in the area, decided to attack as usual. The soldiers fought back, and the shootout lasted about 2 hours, and when the terrorists could no longer withstand our firepower, they retreated, but the soldiers didn't know that some of the terrorists were hiding close by and only buying time. And so when the commanding officer felt that the area was cool and calm, he decided to come out of his tank to boost the morale of troops, which he usually does after such operation, and to find out the number of casualties on his side. After greeting the soldiers and urging them to keep the fighting spirit very high, he then was walking back to the tank when the terrorists who had been looking for him for some time fired a volley of shots at him and killed him in the process. Expectedly, his death has affected morale of the troops. Have you seen insiders' collaboration? They told them, don't worry, he will come out. When you come out, kill him. That was what happened. Now look at it. And we are here playing. Look at another example cited in the publication of 2016. Compare it with what is happening today. Now, how military officers are led to their death? That is Sunday Vanguard of June 21, 2015. Sad killings of Major Timothy Fambia, shot from behind. Now look at extract from the news. It says Major Timothy Fambia's story is known to military commanders because the operation in which he took part was both strategic and very sensitive. Fambia was a native of Goza in Yobe State. He was a Christian. Intelligence extracted from some made available by detained members of Boko Haram suggested that their leader Abubakar Shekau was hiding somewhere around the hills in Gozo. Top military commander brainstormed, and after hours of thinking out how to approach the battle, an action plan was hatched. But because of the hilly nature of some parts of Gozo and the need to be dexterous in prosecuting the operation, someone with a good knowledge of the area of operation was needed to be part of the lead operation. Enters Major Fambia. Now, here was a young man who was on a course at Nigerian Command and Staff College, Jaji, in faraway Kaduna. Word got to him that Shekau was hiding around the hills of Gozo, but the top commanders were hamstrung because we are hamstrung, in proceeding. This was July 2014. This was how Fambia came into the picture because he was very familiar with the topography of this town. He volunteered to be part of the operation. The idea was to capture Shekau. Unfortunately, as in some of our operations, we believe some people from within, even among the officers' corps, may have leaked the information to the terrorists, a source said. Mind you, it was from this battle that the story of Shekau killing filtered out. There were conflicting reports that he was injured during the gun battle, that Fambia was shot in the head from behind. A top military source lamented, in Fambia's death, Nigeria lost one of the best special officers. The source went on, we suspect that Major Fambia may have been killed by one of his men because he was shot in the head from behind. Now look at another report. Military versus Boko Haram. Special forces wiped out 28 of 36 Nigerian allies killed in battlefield. That is Saturday, November 28, 2015. And Buhari is paying them ransom money, still Chibos gates and all that. They are using it to pay arms to Nigerian state, pushing certain soldiers there to be eliminated. Let Nigerian, all the whole Christians in the Nigerian army security forces, Dantul and everybody, as Buhari, change their service chiefs and let them tell us the names of these people that have been killed. All these people that have mutinied, let them tell us their names. I will come again. Thank you very much. I will stop here.